America, land of the free, home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave, America.
Oh, yes. God bless America. Welcome to the Southern Patriots podcast and Wolf Nation on your Wednesday, April the 8th, 6:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Coming through you from Rumble out to other channels instead of our usual way. Haven't done this in a while. We usually kind of go into Rumble from our StreamYard, but we do bounce it around. Was supposed to be doing racing. The Chaser broke down. So I wanted to do news anyway, kind of, sort of. I wanted to get to a news tonight after the racing hour. We may be able to do that. We may not. If he messages me and says we can do that, then we'll be happy to kick back and get in some racing stuff. I was trying to figure out, Rumble's made some changes since I went in. They're phasing out one, bringing in new, and it looks great. I love the interface, which you can't see, but I love the interface, and I was just getting used to that. Well, it's been an amazing last couple days of news when we talk about what's been going on in the Middle East. And it's, it's really like grab your popcorn time. It really, really is. I mean, if you think about, and what I mean by that, I'm not talking about the fighting itself. That's that over there. That's news in of itself, and there's multifaceted. We're going to talk about some of that. But the grab your popcorn is to watch the people that's absolutely losing their mind all over the place, and they go for the absolute worst case scenario of everything, and they key on every word. And depending on if someone likes what the president's doing or they hate. Especially if they hate, they're going to the radical end first, and then trying to peel away people. And it's always doom and gloom. There's like no way. How do these people ever become Americans? I mean, really? I mean, it's like America is doomed to lose everything we do. I mean, it's like, we can't win. I mean, we can't win. They build up our enemies bigger than we are. We can't win this. We can't sustain this. We can't beat them. Sure, there's issues and problems whenever you're having a war and a conflict. Whatever happened to, by gosh, we're America, and we'll be okay. I mean, when did we turn into such sissies and doom and gloom prognosticators in America? I'm not talking about everybody. I just sit back and I listen to these people, and it's just from the politicians on down. I mean, it's like, they're talking war crimes. Are you kidding me? If what he has done so far constitutes a war crime on what we've bombed, then we better go back and bring to trial post-life all those leaders that we've had in America from the beginning. Because I'm going to tell you what, living in the South, some would say that was war crimes. But they burned down everything. They burned down everything and that was of use to the war effort. Everything. The scars of, hey, it's live, broski, believe it or not, straight through Rumble. It is live. It's not Memorex. It's live. But they burned down every freaking thing from by gosh, Mississippi. I know Texas too, but we'll say Mississippi to by gosh, North Carolina. And they hit railroads. They hit, things where you could make the uniforms, of course, the munitions, food stocks. They burned fields. They stole. And how is that not war crimes? But yet the president says we're going to knock some bridges out and power stations and stuff like that. And all of a sudden that's war crimes. Every war we've ever had, every war we've ever been involved with, What do they think we were hitting early in the war, especially? You knocked out command and control, communications, anti-aircraft, things that fire back. Well, we did that at first. Then you start intensifying. The idea is to make your enemy, the person you're at war with, surrender. And see, you're crazy. So, uh, it kills me. Absolutely kills me. We're like just losing everything. I mean, I'm not saying everybody. It's just I sit back and watch these people. I mean, they're almost in tears. I mean, they're almost, crying. Like, oh my gosh, he says he's going to bomb some bridges. Oh God, he's going to be a war criminal. Kick him out. My gosh, exactly. And see, yeah, I am live. I'm sorry I've been out, and I really am sorry. I'm sorry about that, but as you know what's going on in my life, and there's just been some things I've had to take care of. But we will be live a lot this week, and I'm been running some extra shows at different times too. But yes, Dresden. I mean, I still look back, and I mean, it's after the fact. Should we have done that? I mean, does it matter now? I mean, you can look back and write papers about it, articles, do stories. Sure, I'll go back and we'll do a documentary. Probably not, but you know what we were doing? We were putting them in submission. That's what happens. That's right. It's how soft the people of the USA have become. We are a bunch. I'm talking about so many people in America are sissies now. They cannot handle it. I mean, war is hell. It's not easy. I mean, you want to end it as soon as possible. And yes, there are things you can do that go beyond. And if I hear one more politician talk about the stupid International Criminal Court, I'm going to scream. We are not subject to the International Criminal Court in America. I don't care what they say. We never ratified that. We never signed off on it. They can go kick rocks. It's America, baby, and America first, and we don't care what the NATO says. We don't care what ICC says. We don't care about what. And tell me when and where has Iran, Iraq, China, Russia, you go on and on. When have they obeyed every Geneva Convention mandate out there? Tell me when. You won't find it. I mean, it just absolutely kills me that these people, and they took the president's words. He's saying things very tough. They don't know how to read between the lines. You're going to cease to be a civilization. He's talking about the people, the mullahs, the people that keep stepping up and they're imprisoning the people. Yes, there's going to be hardships on the people. By the way, there are people in the nation that they want the president to keep the pressure on. They do. But, they say, well, maybe don't hit the water. That would be a great hardship for us. I can see that. But they realize there's tough times. They say you got to keep pressure on these people. If you let up, they'll just, the killings are going on. They're lining them up over there, hanging them in the streets. If you're wanting to see regime change, you better keep the pressure on. I'll get to the next point in a minute. But it absolutely, and I appreciate your understanding. I really do. I haven't did a morning show the last 2 days. I will tomorrow and Friday, I promise, unless God has a different plan and I'm not here. I was really I've had so much going on. We had I missed one day of work. I actually went back to work last night and worked till about 11 because I had to was watching my wife. So just things like that happen, and so it is what it is, So, but yeah, these worldly liberals have no concept of what living conditions are like in other countries. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I would argue that they aren't a civilization right now. Well, but yeah, I mean, there is such crime going on. I mean, come on. And there's acting like you can't do anything. You've decimated their navy. My gosh, how are they going to fish? I'm just making up stuff, but that's almost what it sounds like to me. Like they don't have a navy. Oh my gosh. They still got a ways to make naval operations. It's called speedboats with munitions on them. Do I care that they can't patrol up and down the strait? I'm going to get to that in a minute because the whole 10-point jump I'm going to get to in a minute, that's a whole nother matter. we've bombed things, and we hit that bridge. And of course, the Iranians were pulling people out and encouraging them to come around, or ordering them to surround things like that. That's what they do. They don't care about these people. They hate them. They're just tools for them. And on that note, I am so glad that they're taking steps to get some of those people out of America, been over here living it up, the women and all, while those people over there have been suffering and being killed and tortured and, made to live like they're living and all that. De-escort them the heck out of here. I'm fully on board with that. Yes, sir. Let's go. I imagine there's some liberals that are crying about that too. Oh, I can't believe we're doing it. I just can't believe it. Come on. It's just crazy. Sorry. That thing's popped up there. Shouldn't be there. Okay, so we get a reprieve, which I don't trust. I don't believe anything they say. The Pakistanis, oh, well, give them 2 weeks. We believe diplomacy will work. You know, it's funny that the Saudi Arabians want us to continue on. They want them gone. But Pakistan, Turkey, and Egypt. Oh, there's some real negotiators for you in the region. Muslim Brotherhood. I mean, come on. Turkey, who hates our guts. They complain about that base over there all the time. They can go kick rocks too. And the brutality that the Turkish military has done to some of the mountain people coming out of Iraq, they hate them. Come on, these people don't understand none of that crap. They have no value in life. It's all domination, death and destruction, steal, kill, rape. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And I said at the beginning, if you're going to do it right. The mission has got to be accomplished, or don't even touch going. So I just I love you, man. I know where your mind is so quick. Tell me what. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it, man. I miss seeing you. It's so ridiculous. The chaser has texted me. Let's see what he says. It's gonna take a little longer. No problem. But yeah, these liberals over here just crying, and they're James Carville. Could that guy just be any more stupid than he already is? He's never been right about nothing. This guy's never right, but they put him on the news every time. He's a Trump hater from way back. He's a Republican hater from way back. I mean, this guy always manages to get on the news. First of all, why would you want that? Just the look of him on the news. Good Lord. I mean, he looks like somebody on, they're walking the last mile. Let's be honest. And he's never right. This guy is always wrong in everything he says. But now he says, we're going to get him and their whole family. We who, buddy? We're going after them. They're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. Oh, my gosh. I've been saving up. I'm just sick and tired of this. Ridiculous. Broski says, Dave, I think Trump's madman approach to dealing with Iran is a great strategy. People think it's not a strategy, but it is. Got to be willing to get dirty when dealing with these fools. Amen. Amen. This has always been his MO. He always says the most radical thing. He stirs the pot. He makes everybody think about, and they fall for it every time. He's talking about bombing out. Every man, woman, and child is going to be dead. You can't bomb kids like that. They could care less about what's going on around the world with all the kids that are getting bombed. They could care less. I mean, they've ignored all that crap forever. And all the other things are going on to kids, and we know about that. But all this has been going on for decades around the world. They didn't care about that. Where's the liberals? Where's the liberals worried about that? No concern. No concern. Every one of them just passed it to the next administration, Republican too. And then you get a guy, well, I don't. Spartan, I don't support child murder, and I have been a Trump supporter. I voted for him. That makes me a Trump supporter. I don't support child murder. So we can't paint that brush over everybody. That's your comment, and I'll put it up. That's your comment, not mine. So I understand you don't like him. I get it, but he's our president, and we've got to do something here. I applaud a lot of what's happened. I do. I it's but we're in up to our neck or over our head now. So we've got to say, um, no, I don't, man. Come on, don't mince words. I support my country. I'm praying for the president. I prayed for Biden. I prayed for Obama. I prayed for Clinton. I may not like every single thing that a president does, but okay, that's your opinion. But I do not support child murder. Okay, I'm not. Okay, I'm just not gonna. And well, they have done horrible things across the region for decades. And I'm not, I understand. I get all these that come in and they defend Iran, they defend Iraq. I get it. You don't like what Israel's done. I get all that, but to say they're not over there grilling hot dogs and being kumbaya with everybody in the neighborhood, they have never been that. Since '79, they've not been that. And you know what? I'll say this: they deserve every bit they're getting for what they did to 444 days. They deserve it. I'll say it. That's my opinion. That's Dave. Mark that down. They deserve that. So uh, they don't play nice. The Arab neighbors, most of them can't stand them because they're so radicalized. I mean, they would support a lot of what they think about Israel, even America. They may all think that, but they can't. They don't trust them. They can't deal with them. There are a couple of countries that have working relationships with them, but most of their Arab neighbors are over there cheering what's going on. They can't stand what's happening over there. So I get it. I know people think, well, they couldn't hurt America. Well, they can hurt Americans. Americans, and last I checked, are still American wherever they're serving at, and they have targeted Americans, and they're doing it now. I get it because we're at war, but they have hurt Americans, and they have always called us the Great Satan. And you know what? So what? If they had shut their mouth, if they just not done the things they've done, this wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't be happening. I mean, you call down thunder, you get it, and then you want to cry. And the people inside the country, most of them, like at least 70 or 80% of them, support the operation. They want it from under the stranglehold of these people. But that's a story for another day. I mean, and I've talked to people who have that, have that opinion, but I'm not going. And I respect that. It's your opinion. I'm just not going to defend Iran on this. The leaders of it, the mullahs, the clerics, the people out, the RGC, whatever, the people going out and hanging people and torturing people and doing what they're. I'm not going to support them. The heck with them. You know what? I mean, every country over there. And this is what kills me. Let me just go by this, and I want to get to the 10-point plan. When you talk about all the when you talk about the Middle East, and no matter what you think about it, what do you think? Who's the problem? You think Israel's a problem? Fine, but those same countries that have done everything that they've done to hurt themselves, Israel didn't have anything to do with. They continually to foster terrorism and jihad, and all those countries should be the richest countries, among the richest countries on the face of the planet, with the resources they have, the oil, the tourism across all those countries would be. Can you imagine? You talk about Vegas, they could have that across the whole of the Middle East, but they constantly want to continue this infighting and stuff. And I get it. It goes back to the Bible and it goes to sin. I get it. And future events that are coming. But all those countries, and one country sort of kind of figured it out, Jordan, and a couple of others. Jordan has great tourism. They're not at war with their neighbors. They actually work in conjunction with the Israelis, and they have peace agreements with each other that have held for decades now. And when they used to be brutal enemies, so it is possible to have that relationship, whether you think Israel's bad or not. You don't see Israel bombing Jordan. You don't see that. You don't see them hitting them. Maybe they do hit heavy, okay? But look at what Lebanon has become. What have they been for decades now? What has Syria been? What has Egypt been? I mean, look at these countries. All these countries. Egypt does have a healthy tourism, but, there's been ugliness over there. I mean, massive. And every time they went to war with Israel, they lost. They got their butts kicked. So all the wars could stop today. All the wars. You could marginalize, you could stop all this, but the hatred and teachings that they do, and they foster the hate. And that hate, as long as it's fostered, as long as you have dictators and kings or whoever they are, mullahs, who are telling the people, go kill, go strap on bombs, go blow people up, go blow buildings up, it's going to continue. So, yeah, we don't live there. America's not situated there. But we have American bases all over. We have embassies that are all over the region. We have American businessmen and people that are doing business there as companies that are based there with companies all over the Middle East. And all these people are in danger from a country that has not just been hitting at America, but they've been firing drones and missiles and rockets at the hotels and other places over there in a lot of these countries. It happened today. So the ceasefire is not even holding, according to what I've read. So, it could stop, but they don't want it to stop. That's the mentality that they have. Iran honoring a political deal. Okay, I think there's a lot of history there that would say otherwise. And the people in Iran would say these people are not to be trusted. They will lie to you, and they've kept us in bondage all these years, all these decades, and they kill us indiscriminately. They force the women into, horrible things. I mean, you could go on and on and on and on. But my point is that we're there. We've done operations. We've done over 13,000 strikes. Israel probably about the same or a little more. We've knocked out a heck of a lot of stuff that could be used, and they're still trying to use things to hurt innocent people, shipping, sink the ships, hurt our military, threaten to destroy, all that stuff. Run your mouth, you find out. I mean, that's kind of where it goes. And listen, if anybody believes that they just want nuclear energy just for to put the lights on, sorry, don't buy it. Me personally, I'm not buying that story. Could they ever have gotten the bomb? I don't know. But I guarantee you this, if they had it, we know where it would drop. At least a low yield one that's enough to do some massive damage. And the very thought, listen, Israel has nuclear bombs too. And last I checked, they haven't dropped one on any country around them. They have it. They don't admit it, but they have it. Everybody knows it. They have not dropped a nuclear device on anybody, nor threatened to do so. But Iran is set. I mean, look at Hamas's charter, look at Hezbollah and all the other ones that they support and have supported through terrorism. And they have all said it's all for the total annihilation of the people. And listen, I'm not for any nation to be totally annihilated. I'm not for that. I'm not for people just to wipe a country out. I've heard that and let whoever pick up the pieces. I've never said that. But you got countries that are. I mean, the bloodbath over there has been happening for decades, and that is not all Israel. You can't put that at their feet. Maybe they have, but I'm telling you what, they've been surrounded by 22 nations that have wanted to see their destruction, and they have stood against that a lot of times by themselves, and they're still standing. And you know what? They do a preemptive strike sometimes if they believe that they're an immediate threat, because they have at times not heeded that advice, and they have been attacked. They've been attacked by as many as 5 nations at one time. You go back in history, and they know what they're facing. So I get the hatred for that. I don't understand all that, but because I don't hate Israel, and I don't hate Jewish people. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Iranians. I don't hate Iraqis. I don't hate anybody, because all people have been created by God, and I would want all of them to come to faith in Christ Jesus. But we're dealing with a lot of evil. I mean, this is the world we live in, nation states. And until Christ returns and sets up a theocracy that nobody's going to be able to knock him off his throne, we're going to be dealing with stuff like this, and there's going to be these things that pop up. Everybody, we can write the rest of our lives about war. Should that have happened? Did it go? Did we do wrong things in that? Was it a deal to get this done or that done, to get more oil or whatever? And will always be those questions about it. But I do not trust in any way what this has, what they have done. I don't trust anything of what they say, what deals they have made. And these we know how the lie can go and be spoken out the mouth and it still be acceptable because of what they say when they turn around and talk to their own people. We understand that. That has fooled American politicians, or they just went with it and just hoped that nothing bad happened because they know they've been lying. I mean, it was laughable, and people, they tell the world one thing, they tell their people another, and they get a pass on it because it's supposed to be advancing the cause. So anyway, back to the original point. People are crying and whining, and things have actually gotten done. And you got to give the president credit. Most things he has touched has worked out. And even though we still have all this tremendous debt, and yes, by the way, the gas, the barrels of oil, the cost of that dropped 14% when that ceasefire was announced. And honestly, I think today I bought gas. I paid $3.60. Was it 364? Something maybe 369 or 269. I don't even remember. It was 269. It was 260. I don't even remember now. But like I said, unless you hit $4 a gallon, nobody much is going to say much of anything because they just kind of understand how this kind of goes. And so anyway, if you're going to go to bat, if you're going to go fight someone, you're going to have to be willing to do what it takes to win, whatever that win is. And so I didn't expect the ceasefire to hold. I don't expect Iran to abide by that. And it gives them time, and they're desperate for time because they're running out of time. The people in power, whoever is the next one up in power. Now, the 10-point peace plan that that happened. The 10-point peace plan was a joke. Now, the president says that's a workable document. Well, they're going to have to work a lot of that completely the other way, because that's not going to work. And we had a 15-point plan. They rejected it outright. Then they said we got a 10-point plan. That 10-point plan is not going to work. I was a little shocked at the president. I don't know if he's kidding, quibbing, whatever, because the Iranians want to charge a surcharge on every ship that goes through. And they've talked about $1 million, $2 million. The president says we'll split it with them, and that we'll make money and it'll be beautiful and all that. Since when are we going to be up? I would reject that. Since when are we going to be a part of charging what should be free? There should be nobody getting money for that to pass through. It's in international waters, and I don't think that's not going to go forward. I think it was a joke or just to soften. I don't see us anyway doing that. It doesn't stand up. The nations of the world would stand against that, and that's not going to happen. But most of the things that they put on or really all the things they put on the 10-point plan, it's not going to work. Like, if we're going to agree to never strike them again, how can you? Because if you turn around, they turn around and get an agreement, and then they do something, then you've just boxed yourself in. We're not going to agree to that. It's not going to happen. The conditions are not for us to listen. Iran is not to set the conditions for us. We set the conditions for them. And if they don't like that, too bad. That's the way it is. That's called leverage. That's called you're not in control here. And so, yeah, I don't have a fault with the president at all with taking a little bit. I wanted to see him pressure a little more. But if he wants to make a 2-week deal to let these things work, if they really want to come to the table, fine, because I don't think they will. But they don't set the conditions. That's not the way this works. When we got on the ship, or when the Japanese got on our ship to end World War II, they didn't come in with a list of documents and say, we've got some, let me get to my list here. Oh, yes, America, you will remove all military. America, you will never fire on us again. We will have as big a military as we want to have. Da, 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 da. That's not the way that worked. It was an unconditional surrender. That's how that happens. And we had to break them. We had to break that will of them. And I can tell you that every military man that I've known, most of them are in heaven now, the ones that I knew that were there, told me they were glad that we did what we did to put pressure on them so that we end, because they knew how that harbor was mined, and they knew and reinforced, and they knew the death and carnage that was coming for the American military if they had to go in that way. And they supported that. Some of them are Navy, some of them are Army. different ones, Air Force, and every one of them said we support what Truman did because we wanted to come home, we wanted it to be over, and we did not want to go into that harbor and face what we knew was coming because they knew they'd already done the damage assessment of how many American troops would be killed going in, and they said no, I'm glad he did it. So I wrote a paper on that one time in college, and people, uh, they asked for should we have, and I said I don't think we're qualified to answer the question should we. From our generation, I said you had to be alive then. But I said I left them with the feelings of the troops who were there, and I took their answer. I said here's their answer, and I will support that. I got an A+ on the paper because I said how could we make that decision? We're far past that. You can you know have a supposition. You can do a documentary. You can have points and all that. But honestly, we weren't there, and it's a little hard for us. We're just looking back in time at the videos and the documents and all that, making a decision. I'm just saying from their perspective, that's what they wanted. From the Iranian people's, most of them's perspective is they want the president to stay the course. All they did was make a couple of adjustments. It's like if we have to lose power, that'd be a hardship. We understand, but don't hit the water. You got to have water, and I don't think they would have done that to that totality. I think what they were trying to done is hurt. They want to hurt the movement of things that when a bridge is knocked out, it does cause the people hardships. But it's mainly to stop them from transporting missiles or munitions in a certain area or troops to a certain area quickly. So you start doing some of that, and it stops them from being able to do that. So, but the 10-point plan is not going to work. That will never suffice. So my point would be, I don't know what the president will do. It's already heating up again. There's things that's happened. There's news coming out of the Middle East that's not being reported in American media. Things that Iran's done, things that they've said. When you look overseas, the story's a little bit different. It's almost like the scrub is on, which we know how that works. And I know all of you do that. I would hope that you go look around the world, you look at different viewpoints from around different countries and major media that's not America based, and then look at what they're doing and saying, and look at what our media is saying. And most of them, if not all of them, they have set that. It's almost like the glossy view. Like we've got this agreement, it's holding, and then you go look, and there's all this other stuff that's going on. It's heating up again. So, but the 10-point plan is a joke, and it's not going to work. And the president, I know he's navigating a lot. And by the way, congratulations to the gentleman who won the 14th district. We didn't get a chance. I wasn't on last night, Clay Fuller, and it was the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. You just got to love them. They said it was the Republicans were spooked. No, we weren't. He won by 12 points. It was a well-respected military man who's ran before. He'll run again. And there's a lot of people that like him, but it was a 12-point win. Outside of a couple of areas, the vote was dominated by the Republicans. But the AJC always has to spin their wheels on this and make it seem like it was a big defeat. That they take a victory and they try to turn it into a defeat. No, it wasn't. It was a clear win. I went and voted yesterday around, it was a little after 5, went back to work, or went to work. So I knew I wouldn't be out in time, and I couldn't leave earlier because I was watching my wife. But I did get to vote, and I'm glad I did. And I ran into my folks that I work with. I haven't been able to work there because of being with my wife, and that should come first, and it does. But I sure was nice to see them. Got to hug some necks and shake some hands, and it was pretty busy there. They said they'd been really steady. That's good to see because the numbers are always down in a runoff election, and I was glad to see that they did good there. So the headline on Newsmax is Levitt rejects Iran claim it reclosed key Hormuz Strait. Listen, this is going to be the key point going forward. The Strait. It's going to come back to the Strait every time. The ships have got to get flowing. 30-something traveled through yesterday, about 130, 35 a day. The ships are piling up. The world has to react. And And I don't blame the president for calling the world out beyond those that support Iran, which is about four or five. Uh, the rest of them should be here helping to open that strait for everyone. It will not be closed. It should not be a toll by Iran to control that strait. It's international waters. They can shut their face. And if we got to put American naval capability there, whatever we got to do, but the nation should really take hold here and say, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And that should be the end of it. Whether you agree with that or not, they don't have a right to close that. And I don't really, people say, how do they close it? Well, it's really the mines that they put out, the drones and missiles and stuff. The ship's captains have been told by these companies to stand down, not to risk the cargo. They're wanting to let certain ones through and, not let others. You know what? We all dealt with a bully in school, and this is a bully, and you're not going to do it. Again, I'm not going to, Iran's wrong here, and that's not their play toy. Even what's going on in the country, that's not their play toy. So coming out of this, we have to have that. That has to be open. If nobody else is going to do it, we're going to do it. And I support that. And they don't have a right to say that. And now they're was making remarks about another waterway. Well, you know what? Shut your face. You're not going to do it. But the president is not going to be intimidated here, but he is taking a long view. He always does that. And nobody knows, because what they told the Americans is going to be completely different than what they told the world. They're going to try to save face. This is the Middle East way. They're going to tell that we stood the Americans off. And that's what they're telling them. We backed them off. We scared them. We're our threats. Our bullcrap. Whoever's in power and whoever's on the horn was saying things that no, they couldn't do that. Now, come on, Spartan, they can't do that. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So even if you think they should, they're not going to be allowed to do that. They're not. They're not going to be allowed to do that. So that's just not going to happen. So that waterway has to be open. This goes beyond anything between Israel, United States, USA, or whoever. This is the world. So much comes out of that area. And it's, listen, are we going to let countries just close off areas and waterways and say you can't go through or else, or we're going to blow your boats up? We're talking about international waters, not their territorial waters. We're talking about international waters. No country, United States included, has the right to say that unless it's a time of war, they're feeding terrorism or whatever, then you take care of those people individually. You don't shut down world commerce because you're mad at one or two countries. You don't do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. So, and I did see that about the rebuild, but still, why should me as company A traveling through with my flag tanker or ship or whatever, why should I be paying anything to them? I shouldn't. That's not right. It's not legal. That's bullcrap. And can you imagine being told that every ship that you go through has to pay $1 million or $2 million to travel through? Come on. I get it. We have toll roads here in America. This is international. The international community would have to say what happens here. They don't have a right to claim the whole sea. They don't have a right for that. They're doing it through threats. They are not the keepers of the strait. They think they are. They think that they own it. They think that it's all theirs. Well, bullcrap. They can't put conditions on that. It's international waters. It doesn't stand up. It doesn't hold. The only way they do that is through threats. The captains are willing. Some of them are willing to risk it. The company said, no, we don't want to lose the cargo. We don't want to lose men. We're going to stop. Some of them have been allowed to go through. Some of them under escort. But seriously, they have to radio the Iran. Who the heck are they talking to anyway? Who the heck are they talking to? So many people have died. How do they even communicate with them? But they're supposed to call the Iranians and say, "Hey, this is ship Mosaba, flagged under Pakistan. Can we go through?" Really? That's not supposed to happen. That's bullcrap. The international waters is international waters. That's what I'm talking about in the legal. It's international waters. You can't stop commerce. You can't stop world commerce. And that's going to have to be stopped. And if the world is not going to do it, then it must be done. It must be done by Americans. I'm sorry. I've never liked it. We had to be the world's policeman and getting out there and doing stuff, but sometimes that's had to happen. Controversies abound. I get it in all wars. But I will say, Uh, you just can't shut down waterways. You can't do that. Uh, Again, if someone's transport human trafficking, if they had a ship, sure, the international community should be stopping a ship like that. If they're carrying arms and munitions to a terrorist organization, absolutely board them and inspect it as an international community and say you're not transporting that through. You're under arrest, and we're confiscating all this. You're not going to do it. So there are some things in law. Sure, any country has a right to their borders, and we get in their territorial waters. You can be boarded. Absolutely. And all those countries have a right to do that. But in international waters, unless you're doing something that, is against the international law of transportation, oil, last time I checked, it's not illegal to be transporting oil from the Middle East to the world. It's not illegal to have Sheen, Timu, Amazon products being on the ships coming through to the world. They don't have a right to say that you can't go through. We're gonna bury your ship under the sea. They don't have a right to say that. And we just need to stop it. And so that's what's going to happen out of this. So they're taking 2 weeks, look at the 10-point plan, and the 10-point plan will be adjusted because they're not going to get their way on this. And yeah, in negotiations, you may give here and there, give them a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but that strait will not be a part of that. They're not going to have total control of that. If they do, if we ever agreed to that, that'd be the most foolish thing in the world. And the rest of the nations, I would hope, would stand up when we didn't and say you're not going to do that. So uh, I get it, man, but it's the same old song and dance, man. I mean, you're bringing nothing new to the table. Okay, I get it. You hate Israel, you hate the Jews, but it's the same. It's the same argument. I mean, you have nothing new, man. I mean, we used to have these beautiful discussions about world politics and people. That is all you guys ever talk about. I get it. I've allowed you to do it, but it just gets old, man. You have no discussion points. I mean, you don't even stay on the topic sometimes. You go completely to that. I mean, that's why I don't. And I'm not going to put them on the screen. I have the discussion, but I'm not going to put them on the screen. It's like I wish we could tread new ground, but that is the totality. And I love you guys, but that's the totality of your discussion. That's the totality. That Israel is the total and evil country, and everybody else over there is just wonderful, peace loving people, and they're not a problem for anything. Come on, man. Come on. You got to be more. You got to use more brain cells than that, more logical than that. I have no problem in discussing where Israel's heavy handed and did stuff. I've done that, but you're making it sound like these other countries are just sitting over there on bamboo. Sitting on bamboo rafts that are floating across and they're just innocent people who've done nothing wrong. Seriously, I mean, come on. It just gets old. I just wish we could have a better discussion. I get it. You jump on me. I mean, like I'm idiot and stupid, but there's no. That's the end of your discussion. That's all you talk about. There's nothing else. I get it. I hate that you're like that. It's going to be a bad surprise when Jesus comes back, and all that's going to happen there on that land. And I get it. You've done replacement theology. I get it. But that land is biblical. They may not be living. They're not living biblically. No, and they're not living for Jesus. No, some are, because I know Christians in the land. But that land is important, and it is going to have a future. And that's the end of it. End of it. You've done replacement. So that's all I'm going to say on it, because I don't want to be drugged into this every single show. I could be talking about soccer, baseball, and this is the discussion that happens. So I get it. You don't. I would say you're wrong in that. Who's we? You and him? I mean, is that we? Because you're saying that before 1948 they didn't do anything wrong? Bullcrap. Go look at it. Come on, man. I mean, I can tell you people that were there before 1948 they're dead now, that have suffered at the hands of the terrorism that they were waged. And they waste it with each other, by the way. When they don't have a common enemy, they kill each other. This has been their problem. This is why they don't advance. But they blame it on everything else. You're just giving them a pass on that. But they have, and there are Arabs and Jews that live in peace together. They do. They're friends. Come on, man. It kills me. We the USA. Well, I know, I get. I don't want to go down that road every single show. we go down that road. The point is, we're in a fight with Iran. It's in a 2-week pause, which may or may not last. And what's going to happen going forward? It's a guesswork. But the 10-point plan, my point, if it stands that way, we have failed. If we agree to those 10 points, as I read them, that was put in the press, we would be stupid. Stupid. I don't believe we'll agree to that. We will change those around, and we will tell them, we'll issue how it's going to be, and we'll give them some things here if they will show that they can be trusted and move forward. And the strait is the key. And if they will not start there, the rest of that plan dies. Because that one of the points is they own the strait, and they're going to charge the fees. And the president was wrong for saying we're going to split the fees with them and come on, man, that's bullcrap. That's not going to happen. And listen, we're not into nation building either. It's not our fault that we're, in my opinion, they can rebuild themselves. Sell oil, be a member a state of the nations of the world, and act like it, and you can use your own oil to rebuild. We're not spending another $1 trillion or $2 trillion to rebuild. It's not that shouldn't happen. That's just the way I see it. We've done that, and we turn around and get stabbed in the back. These same countries turn on us, and then we, the taxpayers of America, we continue to pay for it. Listen, I'm all for pulling a lot of things out of the Middle East. You've heard me say it. I don't like that we're in the middle of a lot of this crap. And that's not just Iran. I'm not talking about just that. I've said this. I don't want to be send anything to Ukraine and Russia. I don't want anything to do with that. I've said, let's get out of there. Let's pull back. Let's America first. But it is what it is. They don't listen to me anyway. But what I'm saying is that most of the countries that we have went to war with like this, we start making deals with them that we don't even help our own citizens with. It's bullcrap. I think we as American citizens can say that let's take care of home. I think we've all said that. I think that's something we can agree on. I think we can agree on that. I hope we can. But listen, just have a better discussion. It's always that. That's all I say. I think you just always have that. Y'all, it's the same. I could write 10 points down, and every time we have a show, it's the same 10 points. God bless you, Greg. How you doing? And so I get it. I don't like Zelensky. I don't like a lot of things. I may not like leaders in Israel sometimes. I may not like leaders in Iran. I get it. I don't care for a lot of those things that are going over there. But it's all I get core problem. But it's always goes back to that, and it just shines through. Hate Israel, hate Jews, and I'm just not with you on that. I'm just not going to hate on all Jews. I have Jewish friends, and I have believers that are Jewish, and I don't hate Israel as a nation. I may hate sometimes what they do, as I do all nations. Sometimes I've hated what we've done, but I don't hate anybody. I may hate their actions, but I don't hate anybody. But that seems to be what shines through, is that it's just hating a whole population of people, and I'm not like that, man. I'm just not going to be there. And you can despise me for it. It's fine. I get it. But if we're going to have a discussion, it's got to be deeper than that, man. I mean, it's got to be deeper. There's so many things that's going on. There's so many other bullet points in this that are not just that. I mean, you don't have to go always back to that one thing. There's so many other things that's going on here. What's going on inside of Iran, or what's going on inside of Iraq, what their leadership's doing, what's going on in Saudi Arabia or Jordan. By the way, as I said, it doesn't seem to have a problem with Israel or Lebanon or Syria or Yemen or whoever you want to go to. There are things that's going on inside their nations that have absolutely not one thing to do with the USA or Israel. They do. Look how they do. Look how they teach. Look how they treat their own people. Look at what they put in their textbooks. Look at what they preach. That's what. Well, you always say Jews. When you say Jews, you're saying it's always the Jews. You don't. There was never a disclaimer. You always just say Jews. That's what I'm saying. You always say that. It's just Jews. Well, let's be specific. And I don't hate Israeli Jews. I don't hate all them. I don't hate anybody, but I wouldn't hate a particular part of them. And anyway, that's all of my point. It's just I could take a screenshot of the chat, and it always becomes that's the discussion. That's the discussion. But if you want to, I'd love for Spartan. Spartan's got all this great information about Poland, and we've had awesome discussions about them and where they're at, and their interest in things going on, and I love that. I miss that. but we never get there because it's always about some of the other stuff. So I would love to have that discussion about that. I'd love to talk about, Russia sometimes, or I'd love to talk about Australia, Britain, and the problems they have in the Europe. I would love to talk about that. But every discussion, I promise you, no matter what I say on this topic, it always comes back to that. We never get past that. We never, that's all I'm saying in the chat. We never get past that. And it's just, it's amazing to me. But I get it. It's on your mind. You're passionate about it. I get it. But we never have a discussion about any of the other stuff. If whatever the topic is not news. The topic could be, as I said, flying kites. And we would always go back to that. Every once in a blue moon, we have one of those wonderful shows where we do that. And I know this is news. I get it. I'm just saying, though, this is a point. It just amazes me that we always that tends to be where we end up, as you said, every single time. I know you weren't using it that way. But I get it. I don't like governments. I don't. They're evil. Most of the people in most governments in the world are horrible. There are some that I think are decent and try to do a good job. Certainly, we over here, we're doing some bad things, and we're trying to stop that. But we're not doing things that they're doing in Iran. Their leadership's doing to their people. We're at least not yet. So I don't like governments. They're power. They're hungry for power. It's the rich man's club or rich woman's club, and they want to go beat up on people or get more power or die with the most toys. I'm with you on that. I get it. But it ain't just one country. It's a heck of a lot of them. They feel the same way. So that's all I'm saying. I'm going to be going to racing because Dino finally got his car fixed. And I think he's ready, although I left my thing up. And so I'm going to end this one only because we're supposed to be, this thing, my phone took off it was recording into text everything I was saying up to a point. So I've got to see if I can't delete all those so I can actually message Dean back. There it is. But I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Again, yesterday I went back to work, or not back. I went to work. I had not a good morning. Just something that was good, but it had some problems. And the last 2 mornings I wasn't on because, like I said, I was really up taking care of my wife. And that, I don't need to specify how, what. She's hanging in there. She's doing good. But there's a lot of care that needs. And you know what? Podcast goes aside. I have to take care of my wife. And so there were things I needed to do. And people I need to meet with that were coming to the house, nurses, bathers, stuff like that. And so, I just said, today, not going to do it. And sometimes I'm just wore out, completely wore out. But congratulations to those that won in the special elections. I hope they do well, no matter who it was. And then we've got now to turn around and, be ready for the primaries that'll be coming, and the midterms are upon us. I mean, they're coming up fast. I can't name who, but I have been working with some folks. I've spent some time. I've done some research and worked with some folks about voting, and that's really all I can say. Just to do some summaries and stuff like that, and go to websites and look at what their platforms are, what their speech is saying, how they voted, stuff like that. So it's not everyone. Lord knows I don't have that much time. But I was able to do about, I would say probably about 30 politicians. And a lot of them were based in the southeastern United States. So that was good. And I got to see some things really close to home and further away. So I was doing some of that over the last 2.5 weeks, about 2.5 weeks. And I love that I can dig in and do some of that. And, and vote ratings and looking at kind of where they fall. Is it extremely liberal, moderate, and all the way the other way to very conservative? There's very few of those anymore, by the way. Very few very conservative. But Georgia's a hot button. It always has been the last few years, and it will be. A lot of money is going to pour into Georgia. And, we'll see a lot of discussions about who's going to be the governor and who, my sister was even talking to me today about it. What did I think between candidates? And we were talking, and So she went and voted yesterday. Proud of her. She got out and voted. She didn't feel good, but she got out and voted. And I appreciate her making sure she got her vote in. And let's get people out to vote. It's a sad case. I think the total number, if you add everything together, if you had every vote that came in the special election in the 14th district, it wouldn't be much higher than all the eligible voters in my county. That's how low of a percent it was. It's multiple counties, but when you take all those people that voted and you add, for either candidate, you added those together, it wouldn't be much higher. No, I mean not much at all, a few thousand, than the registered voters in my county, and that's several counties. That just shows you how. But I will say, I think a few more turned out than I expected, and I was so glad to see people coming in left and right. When I was, of course, it was that getting off of work time, and that's always a busier time from my experience of being at the precinct. Uh, but God bless y'all. Again, y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna be probably won't be coming through Rumble, but I'll be going to Rumble. You'll see the Rumble channel. We're gonna have a racing hour. We're gonna talk racing and a little bit of sports, probably with a chaser. I got to find out if he can still do it. Thanks for watching and supporting Southern Patriots and Wolf Nation podcast. I'm the Dave, the Cornbread Man, and hey, God bless America. You know what? I can say that. And I definitely love America. I'm not a hater of America. I don't like. I get on them when they do wrong things. I get on our leaders. Sure, we may not always agree about all those things, but I do get on to them, and at least I'll complain. They don't hear me, but I have spoken to and wrote and been in the office of people that are representing me, and I need to do more of that. But I love America, and we'll go out with some of the song that America, simply America. Take care. We'll see you in a few minutes, hopefully.